Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before you scroll away, I want to ask you one question. Have you ever wondered why, no matter how hard you try to forget someone, their memory refuses to leave your heart? You made dua. You cried. You asked Allah to give you peace. You tried to move on. Yet somehow, your heart still turns back to the same person. So you begin asking yourself, Ya Allah, if they are not written for me, why can't I let them go? Or perhaps you ask, if they are written for me, why did you allow us to be separated? My dear brothers and sisters, these are not small questions. These are the questions that keep people awake after everyone else has fallen asleep. The questions whispered through tears after Tahajjud. The questions carried by hearts that are trying to trust Allah while silently breaking inside. But what if your waiting is not a punishment? What if your separation is not the end of your story? What if Allah is protecting something so beautiful that, one day, every tear you cried will finally make sense? The truth is, many people spend years chasing what they think they have lost, never realizing that what Allah has truly written for them has never been lost at all, because no person can steal what Allah has already written in your name. No distance can erase it. No delay can destroy it, and no obstacle can stand forever against the decree of Allah. Today, we will uncover 8 powerful reminders from the Quran and the Sunnah about Allah's perfect decree, beautiful patience, and complete trust in His plan. By the end of this reminder, inshallah, you will no longer fear the waiting. You will no longer fear the distance. You will learn how to place your heart where it has always belonged, in the hands of Allah, the best of planners. What Allah has written for you can never belong to someone else. There is a pain that many hearts carry in silence. It is not always the pain of losing someone. Sometimes it is the fear of losing someone before they were ever yours. You begin to wonder if another person will receive the blessing you have been asking Allah for. You wonder if someone else will marry the person you hope to build a future with. You wonder if the opportunity you have been waiting for will be given to someone else. You wonder if one mistake, one wrong decision, or one difficult season has permanently closed a door that Allah once intended for you. These thoughts quietly enter the heart. Then they slowly grow stronger. Soon they steal your sleep. They steal your peace. They steal your ability to enjoy the blessings you already have. You begin imagining problems that have not even happened. You become afraid of a future that only Allah knows. But today, stop for a moment and let your heart remember one of the most comforting truths in Islam. No human being has the power to steal what Allah has already written for you. The one who created the heavens without pillars, the one who created the stars, the oceans, the mountains, and every living soul, is the same Allah who wrote your provision, your blessings, your tests, your marriage, your moments of happiness, and every chapter of your life long before you were born. Before your parents even knew your name, before you took your very first breath, before you cried for the first time, Allah already knew every road you would walk. He already knew every person you would meet. He already knew every goodbye that would hurt you, every prayer that would leave your lips, every tear that would fall from your eyes, every dream that would live inside your heart. Nothing in your future surprises Him. Nothing catches Him off guard. There has never been a moment where Allah looked at your life and thought, I did not expect this. His knowledge is perfect. His wisdom is perfect. His plan is perfect. That is why a believer finds peace, not because life is easy, but because Allah is in complete control. Sometimes we become so afraid because we forget who is writing our story. We begin believing that people have more power than they actually do. We think one person's decision can destroy our future. We think someone else's success means our own blessing has disappeared. We think if another person receives what we wanted, then there is nothing left for us. But that is not how Allah's mercy works. Allah does not give blessings the way people give away possessions. When a person gives away money, they have less. When a person shares food, their plate becomes smaller. But Allah's treasures never decrease. His mercy never becomes smaller. His generosity never comes to an end. He is Ar-Razzaq, the provider. He is Al-Karim, the most generous. He gives without becoming less. He blesses millions at the same time without reducing his treasures by even the smallest amount. So if Allah blesses another person today, do not think He has forgotten you. Their blessing is not your loss. Your story is not competing with theirs. Allah is writing every life with perfect wisdom. One of the biggest reasons we become unhappy is because we compare our journey with someone else's journey. Comparison quietly steals gratitude from the heart. You open social media. You see wedding pictures. You see engagement announcements. You see smiling families. You see people celebrating. And without realizing it, your heart begins asking questions. Why not me? What is wrong with me? Did Allah forget me? That is exactly what Shaitan wants you to believe. Because when hope becomes weak, faith also becomes weak. But Shaitan never shows you the whole picture. He never shows you the nights that person cried alone. He never shows you the fears they carried. He never shows you the tests hidden behind their smile. He never tells you how many years they waited before Allah answered them. Most importantly, He never reminds you that Allah is still writing your story. Just because another person's chapter is happening today does not mean your story has ended. A book is never judged by one page. Your life should never be judged by one difficult season. Every believer has a different timeline. Allah never compares His servants. Only people compare people. Allah looks at every heart individually. He knows what each soul can carry. He knows what each soul needs. He knows exactly when a blessing will bring peace instead of pain. Think about this carefully. What if Allah gave you everything you wanted 5 years ago? Would you have been grateful? Would you have protected it? Or would you have lost it because you were not ready? Sometimes we ask Allah for a blessing, but we forget to ask Allah to prepare us for that blessing. Allah is not only preparing your future, He is preparing you for your future. Perhaps the person you are praying for is also changing. Perhaps Allah is teaching them patience. Perhaps He is correcting their character. Perhaps He is bringing them closer to Him before bringing them closer to you. Perhaps both of you are walking separate roads today, so that one day you can walk the same road with stronger faith. Allah does not simply look at what you want. He looks at who you are becoming while you wait. Because the person who receives the blessing is just as important as the blessing itself. Preparation is one of the greatest acts of Allah's mercy. Many times we think nothing is happening because we cannot see anything changing. But Allah is always working behind the scenes. He changes hearts that you cannot see. He opens doors you do not know about. He removes people who would have harmed you. He creates opportunities while you are sleeping. He answers prayers in ways you never expected. Just because your eyes cannot see His plan does not mean His plan has stopped. The seed growing beneath the soil cannot be seen, yet every single day it is growing. One day it breaks through the ground. Everyone calls it a miracle, but Allah had been working on it long before anyone could see it. Your life is often the same. Allah may be preparing a blessing that nobody around you knows about. Even you cannot see it, but He can. Many people lose hope because they only believe what their eyes can see. Islam teaches us to trust what our hearts know through faith. You may not see Allah arranging your future, but He is. You may not see Him softening someone's heart, but He is. You may not see Him removing obstacles from your path, but He is. You may not understand why certain doors closed, but years from now, you may look back and thank Allah for every closed door that protected you from a life that would have broken your heart. Sometimes rejection is protection. Sometimes delay is mercy. Sometimes losing what you wanted is actually Allah saving you from what would have hurt you. Allah never removes something without wisdom. He never delays goodness without purpose. He never writes difficulty without also writing hidden mercy inside it. That is why a believer says, "My Lord knows what I cannot see." Those simple words bring peace to a restless heart. Look at the lives of the prophets. They waited. They cried. They faced uncertainty. They experienced loneliness. They experienced rejection. Yet every delay carried wisdom. Every hardship brought them closer to Allah. Not a single moment of their waiting was wasted. Your waiting is not wasted either. Even now, while you think nothing is changing, Allah may be changing you. He may be making your faith stronger. He may be teaching you patience. He may be cleaning your heart from unhealthy attachment. He may be protecting you from people who would only bring pain into your life. He may be preparing a blessing so beautiful that one day you will understand why He made you wait. Do not allow fear to convince you that your future is in someone else's hands. It never has been. No human being has the authority to cancel what Allah has already written. People may reject you. Allah can replace them with someone better. People may leave you. Allah can send someone who never will. People may disappoint you. Allah never disappoints those who sincerely trust Him. Even if the whole world gathered together to stop what Allah has written for you, they would never succeed. And even if the whole world gathered together to give you something that Allah has not written for you, they would never be able to place it in your hands. This is why your heart should rest. Stop chasing people out of fear. Stop comparing your life with everyone else's. Stop believing that someone can steal the blessing Allah has already chosen for you. What Allah has written for you carries your name. No one can erase it. No one can rewrite it. No one can claim it before you. Your responsibility is not to force your destiny. Your responsibility is to stay close to Allah, obey Him, make sincere dua, improve yourself every day, and trust Him while He unfolds the beautiful story He has already written for your life. So if your heart feels afraid today, remember this promise. The one who wrote your destiny is also Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. He loves His believing servants more than they can imagine. He will never allow another person to steal what He has chosen for you. If something truly belongs in your life, it will reach you at the exact moment Allah knows it will strengthen your faith, increase your gratitude, and bring you closer to Him. And if it never reaches you, then trust with all your heart that Allah has prepared something better, because Allah never deprives His sincere servant. He only leads them toward the blessing that was always meant to be theirs. Why Allah sometimes separates two hearts before bringing them together. One of the hardest moments in life is when someone you deeply care about suddenly becomes distant. The conversations become shorter. The closeness slowly disappears. The plans you once imagined together begin to fade. You keep asking yourself the same painful question. If Allah wanted us together, why did He allow us to be separated? It is a question many sincere believers have quietly asked. Some ask it with tears after every salah. Some ask it while looking at old memories. Some ask it during long nights when sleep refuses to come. But what if separation is not always a sign that Allah is saying no? What if, sometimes, separation is actually Allah saying, "Not yet"? This is something many people fail to understand. We often believe that if something beautiful is delayed, it must be because it is being taken away. But Allah's wisdom is far greater than our emotions. Sometimes Allah separates two hearts because He loves them enough to prepare them first. Think about a farmer who plants a seed. The moment he places it into the ground, nothing appears to happen. Days pass. Weeks pass. The soil looks exactly the same. If someone judged only by what they could see, they would believe nothing is growing. But beneath the surface, Allah is creating life. The roots are becoming stronger. The seed is slowly breaking open. Everything is happening where human eyes cannot see. The same is true for many parts of our lives. Just because you cannot see Allah working does not mean He has stopped working. Sometimes He is doing His greatest work in places your eyes cannot reach. He may be changing your heart. He may be changing the other person's heart. He may be removing habits that would have destroyed the relationship if you had come together too early. He may be teaching both of you lessons that can only be learned through patience. Because a relationship built before two hearts are ready often struggles to survive. Allah does not only care about bringing people together, He cares about keeping them together in a way that brings peace, mercy, and barakah. That preparation takes time. Many people pray for marriage, but very few pray to become the kind of husband or wife who deserves that blessing. Many pray for love, but forget to ask Allah to make their own hearts gentle, patient, forgiving, and sincere. Many ask Allah to change the other person, but Allah first begins changing them. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not that Allah changes your situation. The greatest miracle is that He changes you while you are waiting. Perhaps before this separation, your heart depended too much on another person. Perhaps you checked your phone more than you remembered Allah. Perhaps one message determined your happiness. Perhaps one person's attention became more important than your relationship with your Creator. Allah, in His endless mercy, sometimes removes people for a while so that your heart can return to its true home. Because no human being was ever meant to carry the place in your heart that belongs only to Allah. The heart was created to love Allah first. Every other love becomes beautiful only after that. When Allah becomes the center of your heart, every relationship finds its proper place. But when a person becomes the center of your heart, fear enters your life. You become afraid of losing them, afraid they will leave, afraid they will stop loving you, afraid someone better will come into their life. Your peace becomes attached to another human being. Allah does not want His believing servant to live with that kind of fear. He wants your heart to be attached to the one who never changes, the one who never leaves, the one who never forgets you. Sometimes separation is Allah gently teaching your heart where real security comes from. There is another beautiful wisdom behind separation that we often overlook. People grow through hardship. Very few people change while life is easy. It is often pain that brings a person back to Allah. It is often loneliness that increases sincere dua. It is often heartbreak that softens a hard heart. Many people begin praying more after losing something they loved. Many begin reading the Quran more consistently. Many begin asking Allah for guidance with tears they had never shed before. What if this period of separation is bringing both hearts closer to Allah before bringing them closer to each other? Would that not be a greater blessing? Because the strongest relationships are not built on attraction alone. They are built on shared faith, shared patience, shared trust in Allah, shared commitment to obey Him. Allah wants relationships that survive not only the beautiful days, but also the difficult ones. That kind of love requires mature hearts. And mature hearts are often shaped through trials. Remember the stories of the prophets. Rarely did Allah give them blessings without first preparing them. They experienced waiting, uncertainty, loss, loneliness, years of patience. Yet every difficult season was preparing them for something greater. Allah has never wasted a single tear shed by a believer. He has never ignored sincere patience. He has never forgotten the servant who continues turning back to Him. If you are waiting today, know that your waiting has meaning, even if you cannot understand it yet. Sometimes Allah separates two people because there are still dangers ahead that they cannot see. Imagine two people coming together while one of them is still carrying anger, pride, dishonesty, or emotional wounds. Those hidden problems would eventually hurt both hearts. But Allah sees every hidden weakness long before people do. He knows what needs healing. He knows what needs correcting. He knows which habits must disappear before two lives become one. His timing protects what His mercy intends to bless. This is why rushing Allah's plan often creates pain. When people force what Allah has delayed, they sometimes enter doors that bring years of regret. But when they trust His timing, they often discover that every delay carried hidden mercy. One day, they look back and say, "Now I understand why Allah made me wait." That sentence has been spoken by countless believers throughout history, not because life became perfect, but because Allah eventually showed them wisdom they could not see before. There is another lesson hidden inside separation. It reveals what truly lives inside your heart. Do you trust Allah only when life goes your way? Or do you trust Him even when you cannot understand His decisions? Real tawakkul begins when the answer has not yet arrived. Real faith appears when there is no clear explanation. Anyone can say they trust Allah when everything is easy. The real test comes when doors close, when prayers seem delayed, when silence replaces certainty. It is then that your heart chooses between fear and trust. Every day of waiting becomes an opportunity to say, "Ya Allah, I still believe You know what is best for me." That sentence is beloved to Allah. Never think your patience goes unnoticed. Every tear you hide, every dua whispered after Tahajjud, every moment you choose halal over haram, every time you stop yourself from chasing what Allah has not opened, Allah sees all of it. Nothing is lost with Him. Nothing goes unnoticed. Nothing is forgotten. Perhaps the reunion you are hoping for will happen. Perhaps Allah will reunite two hearts after preparing both of them. Or perhaps He will gently guide you towards someone even better, someone whose presence will bring more peace, more faith, and more blessings into your life. Whichever path Allah chooses, it will always be the path that carries the most mercy. Because Allah does not write stories to break His believing servants. He writes stories to guide them closer to Him. So if someone has been removed from your life today, do not immediately believe the story is over. And do not immediately believe it will begin again. Instead, believe something even more beautiful, Believe that Allah is writing the best chapter. If that chapter includes reunion, no force on earth can stop it. If that chapter includes a different blessing, nothing you lost can compare with what Allah will give you instead. Until that day comes, protect your heart. Stay close to your prayers. Keep making sincere dua. Continue improving yourself. Continue trusting your Lord. Because the same Allah who knows how to separate two hearts also knows the perfect moment to bring them together again. If that reunion is truly a means of goodness for your faith, your life, and your journey to Him. Stop running after what Allah can bring back with one command. There is a point in life where chasing something no longer brings you closer to it. It only makes your heart more tired. Many people believe that if they try harder, speak more, explain more, or hold on more tightly, they can force what they want to stay. They believe that if they send one more message, make one more phone call, wait outside one more door, or prove their love one more time, everything will suddenly change. But very often, all that happens is that their heart becomes more exhausted. Their dignity becomes weaker. Their peace slowly disappears. Without realizing it, they begin carrying a burden that Allah never asked them to carry. The truth is that Allah never told us to chase people until we lose ourselves. He told us to make sincere effort through halal means, place our trust in Him, and then leave the outcome in His hands. There is a huge difference between making effort and trying to control destiny. Many people confuse these two things. Making effort is an act of worship. Trying to control what only Allah controls becomes a source of anxiety. When we forget this difference, our hearts become prisoners of fear. We wake up thinking about one person. We spend the day checking our phone. Every notification makes our heart race. Every silence feels like rejection. Every delay feels like the end. Instead of remembering Allah throughout the day, our thoughts become trapped around another human being. Little by little, that person begins occupying a place in our heart that belongs only to Allah. This is why Islam teaches us something so beautiful. Your heart should never become dependent on what Allah has placed under His control, because whatever Allah controls, you do not need to force. Think about the rising of the sun. Have you ever worried whether the sun will rise tomorrow? No, because Allah controls it. You sleep peacefully because you trust His command. The rain falls when Allah commands. The wind blows when Allah commands. The seasons change when Allah commands. The hearts of people also change when Allah commands. If Allah can move the stars across the sky every single night, if He can bring life from a tiny seed buried deep beneath the earth, if He can calm a storm with a single command, do you really think it is difficult for Him to soften one human heart? Nothing is difficult for Allah. He says, "Be," and it is. That is why believers find peace in Tawakkul. They know that Allah does not need complicated solutions. He does not need years to fix what seems impossible. He does not need people to agree before He changes a situation. One moment is enough for Allah to change a life. One sincere dua is enough for Allah to open a door. One night of sincere repentance can change the direction of an entire future. One command from Allah can accomplish what years of human effort could never achieve. So why do we continue exhausting ourselves trying to control what belongs only to Him? Sometimes we chase because we are afraid. We are afraid that if we stop running, we will lose everything. But ask yourself this question. If something truly belongs to you because Allah has written it, why are you afraid that resting in Allah's promise will make you lose it? Real faith begins when you understand that your constant worrying does not increase Allah's decree. Your endless fear does not speed up His timing. Your sleepless nights do not make His plan arrive sooner. Allah's plan has never depended on your anxiety. It has always depended on His wisdom. Many believers unknowingly spend years carrying responsibilities that belong only to Allah. They try to change hearts. They try to change minds. They try to convince people who have already walked away. They try to force doors that Allah has temporarily closed. Every day becomes emotionally heavier than the day before. But Allah never asked you to carry all of that. Your responsibility is much simpler. Pray sincerely. Choose what is halal. Protect your character. Remain patient. Trust Allah. The rest belongs to Him. There is something deeply beautiful about a heart that has learned to surrender. It no longer needs answers immediately. It no longer lives in constant panic. It continues making dua with hope, but it also sleeps peacefully because it knows Allah is awake. Even when you cannot see Him working, He is working. Even when your eyes see silence, Allah is arranging things you cannot imagine. Many of the greatest blessings in life begin in places that are completely invisible. A child grows inside the mother's womb where nobody can see. A seed grows beneath the soil where nobody can watch. The dawn begins while the world is still covered in darkness. Allah often begins His greatest miracles in places hidden from human eyes. Your future may be unfolding in the same way. Perhaps Allah is changing someone's heart today. Perhaps He is removing obstacles you know nothing about. Perhaps He is protecting you from making a decision that would have filled your life with regret. Perhaps He is writing a better ending than the one you have imagined. But because you cannot see it yet, Shaitan whispers that nothing is happening. Never mistake Allah's silence for Allah's absence. He is never absent. He is Al-Latif, the most subtle. His work often happens quietly, without noise, without announcement, without warning. Then one day, everything changes. Have you ever noticed how quickly Allah can change a person's life? Someone spends years searching for peace, then one Ramadan changes everything. Someone spends years worrying about marriage, then Allah opens a door they never expected. Someone spends years feeling lost, then one sincere dua completely changes their direction. Allah does not need long periods of time to change your story. He only chooses the perfect moment, and His perfect moment is always better than our impatient moment. Sometimes Allah delays because He is protecting your dignity. Imagine spending years chasing someone who was never meant to stay. Imagine forcing a relationship that would later fill your life with sadness. Imagine convincing someone to love you when their heart was never meant for yours. Would that truly be a blessing? Or would it become another source of pain? Allah often protects His servants from the very things they are begging for. Not because He enjoys watching them wait, but because He loves them enough to save them from hidden harm. His mercy sometimes looks like rejection. His protection sometimes feels like delay. His wisdom sometimes feels confusing. But every decision He makes comes from perfect knowledge. This is why the believer learns a powerful habit. Whenever something feels impossible, instead of asking, "How will this happen?" they begin asking, "What does Allah want me to learn while I wait?" That question changes everything. Waiting is no longer empty. It becomes a journey of growth. You begin improving your salah. You begin making more dua. You become kinder to your parents. You become more grateful. You become emotionally stronger. You stop depending on people to fill the emptiness that only Allah can fill. and slowly you realize something beautiful. Allah was never only preparing your blessing, He was preparing your heart to receive that blessing. One day you may look back and realize that the waiting itself became one of the greatest gifts Allah ever gave you, because during that waiting, you found a relationship with Allah that you never had before. Never forget this beautiful truth. If Allah wants two hearts to meet, no amount of distance can stop Him. No country is too far. No misunderstanding is too great. No family objection is too powerful. No closed door is too difficult. Allah can create opportunities that no human mind could ever plan. He can reconnect people in ways that seem impossible. He can write endings that leave everyone amazed. But if Allah has written something better for you instead, no amount of chasing will change His wisdom. That is why believers stop running after people and start running toward Allah. Because when you run toward Allah, everything that is truly meant for you begins moving toward you by His permission. So if you feel tired today, if your heart is exhausted from trying to control every outcome, if you have spent months or even years carrying a weight that was never yours to carry, place it before Allah. Tell Him everything. Cry if you need to. Raise your hands in sincere dua. Then stand up with peace in your heart. Because the Lord who controls every heart is also the Lord who controls your future. If He has written that person for you, no one can keep them away forever. And if He has written something even more beautiful, then no temporary disappointment can ever stop the greater blessing that is already making its way toward your life. Trust His wisdom. Trust His timing. Trust His promise. Because what Allah can return with one command should never become something you destroy yourself trying to chase. Allah tests your heart before He entrusts you with His blessing. One of the greatest mistakes we make is believing that every delay is a punishment. The moment our prayer is not answered as quickly as we hoped, our heart begins asking difficult questions. Ya Allah, why am I still waiting? Why did you bring this person into my life if they were going to leave? Why do I keep making dua, but nothing seems to change? These questions do not always come from a lack of faith. Sometimes they come from a heart that is simply tired, a heart that has waited for a long time, a heart that has loved sincerely, a heart that only wants to understand Allah's wisdom. But there is a beautiful reality that many people never stop to think about. Before Allah gives you a blessing, He often prepares your heart to carry it. Because not every heart is ready for every blessing. Sometimes we become so focused on receiving what we want that we forget Allah is far more concerned with the condition of our heart than the speed of our success. Allah does not only ask, "Is this blessing ready for my servant?" He also asks, "Is my servant ready for this blessing?" There is a huge difference. Think about a beautiful glass filled with pure water. If the glass is cracked, the water cannot remain inside it. The problem is not the water. The problem is the condition of the container. In the same way, many blessings require a heart that has become stronger, wiser, more patient, and more sincere. That is why Allah sometimes works on the heart before He changes the situation. Sometimes He delays the blessing because He is repairing the vessel that will carry it. Many people ask Allah for marriage, but are they ready for the patience that marriage requires? Many ask Allah for love, but have they learned forgiveness? Many ask Allah for a righteous spouse, but are they becoming a righteous husband or wife themselves? Many ask Allah to send someone honest, but have they removed pride, anger, jealousy, and selfishness from their own hearts? Allah's preparation is always deeper than our expectations. He is not only preparing your future, He is preparing your character, because character is what protects blessings after they arrive. Without good character, even the greatest blessing can slowly become a source of pain. That is why the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us that the condition of the heart matters more than appearances. Allah looks at your heart. He knows every hidden intention. He knows every fear you never speak about. He knows every attachment that has quietly grown inside you. Sometimes we think we love someone for the sake of Allah. But if we are honest with ourselves, we may discover that we have become emotionally dependent on that person. Our happiness depends on one message. Our peace depends on one phone call. Our mood depends on whether they notice us. Without realizing it, our heart slowly begins asking from people what it should only ask from Allah. This is one of the greatest tests of love. Who sits on the throne of your heart? Is it Allah, or is it another human being? Allah never wants His believing servant to be a prisoner of another person's attention. He wants your heart to be free. He wants your peace to come from Him. Because when your peace comes from Allah, no human being can take it away. Sometimes Allah lovingly removes someone from your life for a season because He wants to remove an unhealthy attachment before He gives you a healthy relationship. This is not cruelty. This is mercy. Imagine a doctor preparing a patient for an important surgery. Before the operation begins, the doctor removes everything that could cause infection. The patient may not understand every step. Some parts may even be painful. But every action is done to protect the patient's future. Allah's mercy is infinitely greater than any doctor's care. Sometimes He removes what is harming your heart before He gives you what will heal it. This is why waiting is often one of the greatest classrooms of faith. While you think nothing is happening, Allah is teaching lessons that cannot be learned in comfort. He teaches patience. He teaches sincerity. He teaches gratitude, or He teaches humility. He teaches reliance upon Him alone. These are treasures that stay with you long after the waiting ends. Many people ask Allah for a beautiful marriage, but what makes a marriage beautiful is not simply finding the right person. It is becoming the right person. If two people carry pride into marriage, love becomes difficult. If they carry anger, every disagreement becomes a battle. If they carry selfishness, both hearts remain empty. If they carry weak faith, every trial becomes overwhelming. Allah knows this. That is why He sometimes delays the blessing until the hearts involved become stronger. Because Allah does not want to give you a temporary happiness. He wants to give you a lasting blessing. There is another reason Allah tests the heart before giving the blessing. He wants to know whether you love the gift more than the giver. This is one of the deepest tests a believer can face. Sometimes we become so focused on what we are asking for that we slowly forget the one we are asking. Our dua becomes only about one person. Our thoughts become only about one outcome. Even our worship becomes connected to whether that prayer is answered. But sincere worship continues whether the answer comes today, tomorrow, or years later. True faith says, Ya Allah, I desire this blessing with all my heart, but I desire your pleasure even more. That is the heart Allah loves, a heart that continues praying, continues trusting, continues obeying, even while waiting. Real tawakkul is not smiling because everything is perfect. Real tawakkul is continuing to trust Allah when nothing around you makes sense. Anyone can have faith when every prayer is answered immediately. The stronger believer is the one who continues believing while the answer is still hidden. That is why every delay becomes a test, not a test of whether Allah will keep His promise. Allah's promise is always true. The test is whether your heart will remain close to Him while you wait. Many of the greatest people in Islamic history experienced long periods of waiting. The prophets waited. The righteous waited. The companions waited. They all experienced moments where the answer seemed far away. Yet every day of patience increased them in honor before Allah. Not one moment of sincere patience was wasted. The same is true for you. Every sincere dua is heard. Every tear is counted. Every night you choose halal over haram is seen by Allah. Every time you refuse to chase what displeases Him, Allah knows. Nothing escapes His knowledge. Sometimes you think your greatest achievement will be receiving the blessing. But one day you may realize your greatest achievement was the person you became while waiting for it. Because during those difficult months, or perhaps those difficult years, you became softer, kinder, closer to the Quran, more consistent in salah, more dependent upon Allah than ever before. That transformation is itself a priceless gift. Then one day, when Allah finally opens the door, you receive the blessing with a completely different heart, a calmer heart, a grateful heart, a mature heart, a heart that understands every delay had a purpose. You finally realize that Allah was never ignoring your prayers. He was answering them in the most perfect way. First by preparing your heart, then by preparing your future, and finally by bringing both together at exactly the right time. So if your heart feels tired today, do not believe that Allah has forgotten you. Perhaps He is doing His most beautiful work inside you. Perhaps this test is not pushing your blessing away. Perhaps it is bringing you closer to becoming the person who can receive that blessing with wisdom, gratitude, and lasting peace. Trust His timing. Trust His wisdom. Trust His love for you. Because Allah never places a blessing into careless hands. He first shapes the heart that will carry it. And when your heart is ready, what Allah has written for you will arrive with a beauty that will make every moment of waiting worthwhile. The delay you hate may be protecting the love you prayed for. One of the most difficult things for the human heart is waiting. Waiting tests us in ways that success never can. When you pray for something with all your heart, you naturally hope the answer will come quickly. You imagine the day your prayer will be answered. You picture how happy you will feel. You tell yourself that once Allah opens this one door, everything will finally make sense. But then, days pass, weeks pass, months pass, sometimes even years pass. Nothing seems to change. You continue making dua, you continue hoping, yet the answer remains hidden. Slowly, your heart begins asking questions. Ya Allah, why is everyone moving forward except me? Why does it seem like other people receive what they ask for so easily? Have you forgotten me? My Lord, how much longer do I have to wait? If you have ever asked these questions, you are not alone. Many sincere believers have cried with these same feelings. But there is one truth that changes everything. Allah's delays are never empty. Every delay carries a wisdom that your eyes cannot yet see. The problem is not that Allah is silent. The problem is that we often expect Him to work according to our clock instead of His perfect wisdom. We live by calendars. We count days. We count birthdays. We count months. We compare our age with other people. We compare our progress with friends. We compare our story with strangers we see for only a few seconds. But Allah is not limited by time. He created time. He controls time. He knows the exact second every blessing should arrive, not one moment early, not one moment late. Imagine giving a child the keys to a fast car. Would that be kindness? Number. Even if the child cried every day asking for those keys, a loving parent would still wait. Not because they enjoy seeing the child disappointed, but because they know the child is not ready. The delay is not punishment. The delay is protection. Allah's wisdom is infinitely greater than the wisdom of any parent. Sometimes the blessing you are asking for today would have become a hardship if it had arrived last year. Perhaps your faith was not strong enough. Perhaps your character was still growing. Perhaps the other person's heart was not ready. Perhaps there were people around you who would have caused harm. Perhaps Allah was removing obstacles that you never even knew existed. How many times have you looked back at your life and realized that something you desperately wanted would have hurt you if Allah had given it to you immediately? At the time, you called it disappointment. Years later, you called it mercy. That is often how Allah's wisdom works. We understand it after we have walked through it, never while we are standing inside it. One of the greatest reasons people become unhappy is because they believe delay means denial. But delay and denial are not the same thing. When Allah delays something, He has not forgotten your prayer. He has not stopped listening. He has not turned away from you. Every sincere dua reaches Him. Every whispered prayer is heard. Every tear that falls during Tahajjud is seen. Allah hears the words that never leave your lips. He even knows the prayers that are too deep for you to explain. Nothing is hidden from Him. Sometimes the answer is simply waiting for the perfect moment. Think about the sunrise. No matter how much you wish for daylight at midnight, the sun will not rise before Allah commands it. And when morning finally comes, it arrives exactly on time, not because people forced it, but because Allah planned it. Your blessings follow the same wisdom. They rise when Allah commands, not when fear demands. Not when society expects, not when people pressure you. Only when Allah knows they will be best for your dunya and your akhirah. Sometimes Allah delays because He wants to protect the love you have been praying for. Imagine meeting the right person while you were still carrying emotional wounds from the past. Imagine entering marriage before learning patience. Imagine building a home while your relationship with Allah was still weak. Would that relationship truly be peaceful, or would it slowly become another source of pain? Allah does not simply want to give you love. He wants to give you a love that survives, a love that brings you closer to Him, a love filled with mercy, respect, forgiveness, and barakah. That kind of love cannot always be rushed. It often needs preparation. Many people only ask Allah to change their situation. Few ask Him to change their heart, yet the heart is where every lasting blessing begins. Allah may be using this waiting to teach you patience, to teach you emotional strength, to teach you gratitude, to teach you how to depend on Him instead of depending on people. These lessons may feel difficult today, but one day they will become the very reason your future relationship remains strong. There is another beautiful wisdom behind waiting. Waiting reveals the sincerity of your faith. It is easy to worship Allah when every prayer is answered immediately. It is easy to smile when every door opens quickly. But what about the days when nothing changes? What about the nights when your dua ends with tears instead of answers? Will you still trust Allah? Will you still pray? Will you still believe that His plan is better than your own? This is where true tawakkul is born. Not after the blessing arrives, but before it arrives. Real trust is continuing to walk toward Allah even when you cannot yet see the destination. Many people think their greatest miracle will be the day Allah answers their prayer. But sometimes the greatest miracle is the person they become while waiting. Waiting teaches humility. Waiting teaches sincerity. Waiting teaches gratitude for small blessings. Waiting teaches you to speak to Allah with complete honesty. Waiting teaches you that no human being can fill the emptiness that only Allah can fill. When that lesson settles deep inside the heart, everything changes. You stop living in panic. You stop comparing your life with everyone else's. You stop asking, why them? Instead, you begin asking, Ya Allah, make me ready for whatever you have written for me. That is a beautiful dua, because it changes your focus from chasing the blessing to preparing yourself for it. Allah loves hearts that continue trusting Him through uncertainty. He loves the servant who continues making dua without losing hope. He loves the servant who chooses patience over complaint. He loves the servant who says, Ya Allah, even if I do not understand your timing, I know your wisdom is greater than mine. Imagine standing before Allah on the Day of Judgment and discovering that every painful delay in your life protected you from years of regret. Imagine discovering that every closed door prevented a hidden disaster. Imagine learning that every unanswered prayer was replaced with something far better than what you originally wanted. That day, every moment of waiting will suddenly make sense. This is why believers never judge Allah's mercy by today's circumstances. They know the story is still being written. The final chapter has not yet arrived. Do not let shaitan convince you that because you are waiting, Allah has abandoned you. Some of Allah's most beloved servants waited the longest. The prophets waited. The righteous waited. Those closest to Allah experienced years of uncertainty before relief finally came. Their waiting never reduced their honor. It increased it. The same patience that feels heavy today may become one of the greatest reasons Allah raises your rank tomorrow. So if your heart is growing tired, if your eyes have become heavy from crying, if you wonder whether your prayer will ever be answered, remember this: the delay you hate today may be protecting the very blessing you have been asking Allah to give you. Your Lord sees what you cannot see. He knows what tomorrow holds. He knows every hidden danger. He knows every hidden mercy. And He knows the exact moment your blessing will become a source of peace instead of pain. Trust that moment. Wait for that moment. Pray for that moment. Because when Allah finally opens the door He has been preparing for you, you will not look back and wish it had come sooner. You will look back with tears of gratitude and say, Alhamdulillah, now I understand why my Lord made me wait. And in that moment, every day of patience, every night of dua, every tear, and every unanswered question will suddenly become part of the most beautiful chapter Allah had been writing for you all along. When Allah brings someone back, they never return the same. One of the most beautiful things about Allah's plan is this: when He truly brings something back into your life, it does not return in the same condition in which it left. Allah never repeats a story without changing the hearts inside it. This is because Allah is not only concerned about bringing two people together, He is concerned about what kind of people they become before they meet again. Many of us dream about reunion. We imagine receiving the message we have been waiting for. We imagine the phone call, the meeting, the conversation, the apology, the wedding, the moment when everything finally feels complete. But very few people stop and ask a more important question. If Allah brought this person back today, would I be the same person I was before? Because sometimes the greatest problem is not that the other person left. Sometimes the greatest problem is that our own heart still needs healing. If Allah had returned them too early, the same misunderstandings would have happened again. The same fears would have returned, the same unhealthy attachment would have continued, the same emotional wounds would have remained hidden beneath the surface. Allah knows this better than we do. That is why He does not simply restore relationships. He transforms hearts first. Only then does He open the door again, if reopening that door is truly good for your faith and your life. Think about rain falling onto dry land. When rain first arrives, the earth begins changing from the inside. Roots become stronger, seeds begin growing, flowers slowly appear. Months later, the entire landscape looks different. The rain did not only wet the ground, it gave life to what was hidden beneath it. Allah's guidance works in the same way. Before He changes your situation, He often changes your heart. And when the heart changes, everything else begins changing with it. Many people spend years asking Allah, "Ya Allah, change the other person." But perhaps Allah is quietly answering, "My servant, I am first changing you." Perhaps He is removing your impatience. Perhaps He is removing your pride. Perhaps He is teaching you to communicate with kindness instead of anger. Perhaps He is teaching you not to build your entire happiness around another human being. Perhaps He is teaching you that true love begins with loving Him first. These lessons may seem painful while they are happening, but later you realize they were preparing you for a healthier future, because every relationship reflects the condition of two hearts. If both hearts are wounded, the relationship suffers. If both hearts are filled with pride, the relationship struggles. If both hearts seek Allah, the relationship becomes stronger with every test. This is why Allah often delays reunion, not because He enjoys watching people wait, but because He wants the reunion to carry barakah instead of regret. Sometimes we ask Allah to return someone, but Allah wants to return them after they have become kinder, more patient, more sincere, closer to the Quran, closer to Salah, closer to Him. That version of the person is very different from the one who walked away. The same is true for you. The person you become after sincere repentance is not the same person you were before. Every sincere sajda changes something inside you. Every tear shed in Tahajjud softens the heart. Every act of patience removes another layer of pride. Every moment of trusting Allah makes the soul stronger. Transformation happens quietly, day by day, prayer by prayer, until one day you wake up and realize you no longer react the way you once did. Things that once destroyed your peace no longer control you. Things that once made you panic no longer shake your faith. This is one of Allah's greatest gifts. He heals you so gently that sometimes you do not even notice it until much later. There is another beautiful wisdom behind this. Allah never wants you to receive an old blessing with an old heart, because old hearts often repeat old mistakes. Imagine reading the same chapter of a book again and expecting a different ending. Without change, the ending rarely changes. The same is true for relationships. If nothing changes inside the hearts involved, the same arguments return, the same misunderstandings return, the same pain returns. Allah's wisdom is far greater than simply restoring what was lost. He wants to create something stronger than before, something healthier than before, something built upon faith instead of fear. Many people think a miracle is when Allah reunites two people. Sometimes the greater miracle is the transformation that happens before the reunion. A person who once ignored Salah now protects every prayer. A person who once acted with anger now speaks with patience. A person who once depended completely on another human being now depends upon Allah first. These changes are not small. These are the foundations upon which lasting blessings are built. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us that Allah looks at our hearts and our deeds. This reminds us that outward appearances are never enough. Two people may appear perfect from the outside, but Allah knows the reality inside their hearts. He knows whether they are humble, whether they forgive, whether they are honest, whether they remember Him in private, whether they seek His pleasure above their own desires. These are the qualities that protect love long after emotions rise and fall. Love alone is not enough. Strong feelings alone are not enough. Beauty alone is not enough. Only hearts connected to Allah can remain steady when life becomes difficult. That is why Allah sometimes spends years strengthening faith before strengthening relationships, because faith is what carries people through the storms of life. Imagine receiving exactly what you prayed for, but without patience, without gratitude, without trust, without mercy. Would you truly know how to protect that blessing? Allah knows the answer. He knows exactly what still needs to grow inside you. Nothing in His timing is random. Nothing is accidental. Every delay carries purpose. Every lesson carries mercy. Every hardship carries hidden goodness. There is something else many people never realize. Sometimes Allah allows separation so that both people can discover Him individually before they discover each other again. Because a person who knows Allah deeply loves differently. They forgive more easily. They speak more gently. They become slower to anger. They become quicker to apologize. They become more grateful. They become more humble. Their love becomes calmer, safer, healthier. This is the kind of love Allah wants for His believing servants. Not a love built only upon emotion, but a love built upon taqwa, a love that reminds each other of Allah, a love that protects salah, a love that encourages patience, a love that increases gratitude. If Allah ever brings someone back into your life through halal means, let the first question in your heart not be, "Will they love me again?" Instead ask, "Will this relationship bring both of us closer to Allah?" Because that answer matters far more than temporary emotions. Any relationship that pulls you away from Allah is not the blessing your heart truly needs. But a relationship that increases your faith, protects your dignity, encourages goodness, strengthens your worship, and brings peace to your soul. That is a relationship carrying Allah's barakah. So never fear Allah's timing. If He has separated two hearts for now, trust that He knows exactly why. And if He chooses to reunite them one day, trust that they will not return as the same people. They will return wiser, kinder, stronger, more grateful, more patient, more aware that every blessing comes only from Allah. And if Allah chooses another path for your life, trust that He is leading you towards someone whose heart has also been prepared by Him. Because Allah never writes beautiful endings by accident. He writes them after transforming the hearts of the people who will live them. So continue improving yourself. Continue making sincere dua. Continue seeking Allah before seeking anyone else. Because when Allah writes a reunion, He does not simply return people to each other. He returns them with hearts that have been refined by patience, strengthened by faith, softened by mercy, and filled with gratitude. That is the kind of reunion worth waiting for. Because when Allah brings someone back after changing both hearts, the relationship no longer rests only on feelings. It rests on His guidance, His mercy, and His blessing. And whatever is built upon Allah has a strength that nothing in this world can truly destroy. No distance, no person, no obstacle can stop what Allah has written. There are moments in life when everything around you seems to say, "This is impossible." The distance feels too great. The silence has lasted too long. People have already given up. Families disagree. Doors continue closing. Circumstances become more difficult with every passing day. Your mind begins collecting reasons why your prayer will never be answered. You tell yourself, "It has been too long. They have moved on. There is no way this can ever happen now." Little by little, hope begins to disappear, not because Allah has become less powerful, but because your eyes have become more focused on the size of the obstacle than on the greatness of your Lord. This is one of the greatest tricks of Shaitan. He wants you to measure Allah's power by your circumstances, but a believer does the opposite. A believer measures every circumstance by Allah's power. There is a world of difference between these two ways of thinking. When you focus only on the obstacle, everything feels impossible. When you focus on Allah, every obstacle becomes small. Remember who your Lord is. He is the one who created the heavens and the earth from nothing. He is the one who tells the sun exactly when to rise. He commands the oceans. He controls every heartbeat, every breath, every soul, every road, every opportunity, every meeting, every goodbye. Nothing happens outside His knowledge. Nothing escapes His control. So ask yourself honestly, if Allah can create the entire universe with His command, is distance difficult for Him? Is one person's heart difficult for Him? Is one impossible situation beyond His power? Of course not. Allah says to a thing, "Be," and it is. That command has never become weaker. It has never become delayed. It has never failed. The problem is not Allah's power. The problem is that our hearts sometimes become trapped inside what our eyes can see. We look at closed doors and believe the journey has ended. Allah looks at those same doors and already knows which one He will open. We see silence. Allah sees preparation. We see delay. Allah sees perfect timing. We see impossibility. Allah sees an opportunity to show His wisdom. How many times in your own life have you worried about something that Allah eventually solved in a way you never imagined? Think about it. There were moments when you believed there was no solution, no way forward, no hope left. Yet somehow, Allah opened a door that your mind had never even considered. That is how Allah works. His solutions are not limited by your imagination. He creates paths that no human being could ever plan. Many people make the mistake of believing that people control their future. They think one person's decision determines their destiny. If someone accepts them, they will be happy. If someone rejects them, their future is destroyed. But Islam teaches us something much more beautiful. People make choices. Allah controls outcomes. Human beings may try to stop what Allah has written, but no one can defeat His decree. Throughout history, powerful people tried to stop Allah's plan, yet every one of them failed. Think about Prophet Musa, peace be upon him. Pharaoh wanted to stop Allah's plan before it even began. He ordered innocent children to be killed. He believed he could prevent the child who would challenge his kingdom. But Allah raised Prophet Musa inside Pharaoh's own palace. The very man trying to stop Allah's decree unknowingly became part of its fulfillment. What an incredible lesson. When Allah decides something, even the people trying to stop it may unknowingly help it happen. That is the power of Allah's decree. Think about Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. His brothers threw him into a well. They wanted him removed from their lives. From every human perspective, his future looked finished. The young boy, alone, far from his father, with no protection, no support, no hope. But what people believed would destroy him became the very road that led him to honor. The well became the beginning of the palace. The betrayal became the beginning of leadership. The tears became the beginning of relief. Allah did not remove the obstacles. He used the obstacles to fulfill His promise. Perhaps Allah is doing something similar in your own life. Perhaps the obstacle you fear today will become the very reason you receive tomorrow's blessing. Perhaps the delay is placing you exactly where Allah wants you to be. Perhaps the rejection is guiding you towards someone better. Perhaps the closed door is protecting the open door that you cannot yet see. Never underestimate what Allah can do with one moment, one conversation, one phone call, one meeting, one sincere dua, one act of repentance, one night of tahajjud, one tear shed for His sake, one command from Allah can completely rewrite a future that looked impossible only yesterday. This is why believers never worship probability. They worship Allah. People say, "It is impossible." Allah says, "It is easy for me." People say, "There is no way." Allah creates a way. People say, "The opportunity has passed." Allah opens a better opportunity. People say, "The story is over." Allah writes a new chapter. How many miracles happened simply because someone refused to lose hope in Allah? Hope is not weakness. Hope is worship. When your hope is placed in Allah, it becomes an act of faith, because hope says, "My Lord knows what I cannot see. My Lord can do what I cannot do. My Lord can open what no one else can open." That kind of hope changes the way you live. You stop panicking. You stop trying to force every situation. You continue making sincere effort, but your heart rests with Allah. You begin understanding that your future is not in people's hands. It never was. It never will be. There is another lesson hidden inside every obstacle. Obstacles reveal where your trust truly lives. If your trust is only in circumstances, every obstacle will destroy your hope. But if your trust is in Allah, every obstacle becomes another opportunity to witness His power. This is why the strongest believers often remain calm while everyone else is afraid. Not because they know the future, but because they know the one who controls the future. That knowledge fills the heart with peace. It reminds you that no plane ticket, no city, no country, no family disagreement, no financial difficulty, no misunderstanding, no passing of time, no human opinion can stop what Allah has already written. If Allah has written goodness for you, the entire world cannot block it. And if Allah has protected you from something, the entire world cannot force it into your life. There is incredible peace in understanding this. You no longer need to live in fear. You no longer need to manipulate situations. You no longer need to chase people until you lose yourself. Instead, you begin chasing Allah's pleasure. Because when Allah is pleased with you, He places barakah in everything He gives you. Sometimes people become obsessed with asking, "Will this person come back?" Perhaps a better question is, am I becoming the servant Allah wants me to be while I wait? Because that answer is completely within your control. Continue making dua. Continue improving yourself. Continue protecting your prayers. Continue trusting Allah's wisdom. Never let today's obstacle make you forget tomorrow's possibility. Allah has changed impossible situations countless times before. He has reunited families. He has healed broken hearts. He has guided lost souls. He has replaced sorrow with joy. He has opened doors after years of waiting. He has answered prayers when people believed the answer would never come. Your Lord has not changed. His mercy has not changed. His power has not changed. His wisdom has not changed. Only your perspective needs to change. So the next time fear whispers, "It will never happen," answer that fear with certainty. Say, "If Allah has written it for me, nothing in this world can stop it. Not distance, not people, not time, not obstacles, not even my own fears. Because what Allah has written reaches the one for whom it was written. At the exact moment His perfect wisdom chooses. And when that moment finally arrives, I will understand that every obstacle I feared was never stronger than the one who was leading me through it all along." The greatest sign of tawakkul is having peace before the reunion. After everything we have reflected on in this journey, there is one final lesson that brings all the others together. It is perhaps the most beautiful lesson of all. The greatest sign that you truly trust Allah is not that you stop making dua. It is not that you stop hoping. It is not that you stop caring. The greatest sign of tawakkul is that your heart becomes peaceful even before the answer arrives. This is one of the hardest stages for the human heart to reach, because our nature is to seek certainty. We want to know what tomorrow will bring. We want to know if the person will return. We want to know when Allah will answer our prayer. We want to know whether we should keep waiting. We want every question answered before we feel calm. But Allah teaches His believing servants a higher kind of peace, a peace that does not depend on knowing the future, a peace that comes from knowing the one who controls the future. There is a huge difference between these two kinds of peace. Many people believe they will finally have peace after they receive what they are asking for. They say, "When I get married, then I will finally be happy. When this person comes back, then I will finally have peace. When my prayer is answered, then my heart will rest." But think carefully. If your peace depends only on receiving one particular blessing, then your peace has become dependent on creation instead of the Creator. That kind of peace is fragile, because anything connected only to this world can disappear. Real peace begins when your heart says, "Ya Allah," whether you answer my prayer today, or next year, or in a completely different way than I expected, I know you are choosing what is best for me. That sentence is not weakness. It is one of the highest forms of faith. It means your trust has become stronger than your fear. Many people misunderstand tawakkul. They think trusting Allah means doing nothing. That is not what Islam teaches. Islam teaches us to make sincere effort, to make dua, to choose what is halal, to improve ourselves. Then, after doing everything within our control, we place the result completely in Allah's hands. This is the balance of a believer. You work, but your heart does not become attached to your effort. You make dua, but your heart does not become attached to a specific outcome. You hope, but your hope remains connected to Allah before anyone else. This is the kind of heart that no disappointment can destroy, because even if one door closes, the heart still trusts the one who owns every other door. Imagine holding a bird in your hands. If you squeeze it too tightly, you harm it. If you open your hands completely, it flies away. But if you hold it gently, with wisdom and care, it remains safely with you. Hope is very similar. Islam teaches us not to crush hope with despair, but it also teaches us not to turn hope into unhealthy attachment. Hold your hopes with trust. Hold your dreams with dua. But keep your heart firmly attached to Allah, because He is the one who gave you those hopes in the first place. Sometimes Allah delays the answer, because He wants to give you something greater than the answer itself. He wants to give you a heart that is content with Him. Contentment is one of the greatest treasures a believer can possess. A content heart sleeps peacefully. A content heart does not spend every night comparing its life to others. A content heart is grateful while still making dua. A content heart continues worshipping Allah whether life feels easy or difficult. This kind of peace cannot be bought. It cannot be learned from the world. It is a gift that Allah places inside the hearts of those who truly trust Him. Look at the lives of the prophets. They did not know exactly when relief would come. Prophet Yaqub, peace be upon him, did not know when he would see Prophet Yusuf again. Years passed. His hair became white with grief. His eyes became weak from crying. Yet he never stopped trusting Allah. He never said, "There is no hope anymore." Instead, he continued turning toward Allah with beautiful patience. That is one of the greatest examples of tawakkul. His peace did not come because he already had Yusuf back. His peace came because he never lost hope in Allah. The reunion came later. First came trust, then came relief. This is often Allah's way. First He builds faith, then He opens the door. There is another beautiful truth many people overlook. Sometimes Allah does not answer the prayer you keep repeating because He intends to answer a deeper prayer hidden inside your heart. You ask for one person, Allah wants to give you lifelong peace. You ask for one opportunity, Allah wants to give you a life filled with barakah. You ask for one dream, Allah wants to give you something that will benefit both your dunya and your akhirah. Allah always sees further than we do. We see today, He sees your entire life. We see one chapter, He sees the entire book. We see one door, He sees every road that door would eventually lead to. This is why trusting Allah is never a loss, even if you do not receive exactly what you hoped for, because every decision Allah makes for His believing servant carries mercy. It may not always feel like mercy in the beginning. Sometimes mercy arrives wearing the clothes of disappointment. Sometimes it arrives through silence. Sometimes it arrives through delay. Sometimes it arrives through a goodbye. But sooner or later, the believer realizes that Allah was protecting them all along. One of the most beautiful signs that your tawakkul is growing is that your questions begin to change. Instead of asking, "Why is Allah making me wait?" you begin asking, "What is Allah teaching me while I wait?" Instead of asking, "When will this happen?" you begin asking, "How can I become closer to Allah today?" Instead of saying, "My happiness depends on this person," you begin saying, "My happiness depends on my relationship with Allah." That is a completely different life, because now your peace cannot be stolen by people. It cannot be destroyed by delays. It cannot disappear because someone walked away. Your heart has found a stronger foundation. Many people spend years searching for peace in relationships. Others search for peace in money. Some search for peace in success. Some search for peace in recognition. Yet all of these things can change overnight. The only peace that never leaves is the peace that comes from trusting Allah, because Allah never changes. His mercy never changes. His promises never change. His love for His believing servants never changes. If today your heart is still waiting for someone, continue making sincere dua. If today you are still hoping Allah reunites two hearts, continue asking Him. If today you are still dreaming of a halal future, never stop praying for it. But while you wait, do not postpone your peace. Do not postpone your worship. Do not postpone your happiness until one particular prayer is answered. Live close to Allah today. Smile because Allah is with you today. Thank Him for the blessings already surrounding you today. Trust Him today, because perhaps the greatest miracle is not the reunion itself. Perhaps the greatest miracle is the peaceful heart Allah gives you before the reunion ever arrives. And when that peace settles deep inside your soul, something extraordinary happens. You stop living with fear. You stop trying to control tomorrow. You stop chasing certainty from people. Instead, you begin walking through life with quiet confidence. Not because you know exactly what will happen, but because you know exactly who is writing what will happen. Then, if Allah reunites you with the person you have been praying for through halal means, your gratitude becomes even greater. And if Allah writes someone different for you, your trust remains unshaken because you know your Lord has chosen what is better. That is real tawakkul. It is not loving Allah only after receiving what you wanted. It is loving Him before the answer, during the waiting, inside the uncertainty, through every tear, and after every delay, because you know with complete certainty that your Lord has never made a mistake in your life. Not once, not even in the moments that broke your heart. One day, perhaps in this life, or perhaps when you stand before Allah, every unanswered question will finally receive its answer. Every delay will reveal its wisdom. Every closed door will reveal the hidden mercy behind it. Every tear will reveal the reward that Allah was saving for you. On that day, you will not regret trusting Him. You will only wish you had trusted Him even sooner. So leave this lesson with one promise to your own heart. I will continue making dua. I will continue striving to please Allah. I will continue hoping for what is good. But from this day forward, I will no longer allow my peace to depend on whether the reunion happens, because my greatest blessing is not finding another person. My greatest blessing is finding complete trust in my Lord. And when your heart reaches that place, you will discover something more precious than the answer you were waiting for. You will discover a peace that this world can never take away. That is the peace of a heart that has surrendered completely to Allah. And that is the most beautiful reunion of all. If there is one message I hope stays with your heart after this reminder, it is this: never be afraid of what Allah has delayed, and never be afraid of what Allah has taken away. Because your Lord has never made a mistake with your life, not once. Every person who entered your story did so because Allah allowed it. Every person who left did so because Allah permitted it. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every season of waiting, every lonely night, every tear that fell in secret, Allah saw all of it. Not a single tear escaped His knowledge. Not a single prayer disappeared into the sky unheard. Not a single moment of patience was wasted. If Allah has written two hearts to meet through what is lawful and pleasing to Him, no distance can stop them. No person can separate them. No obstacle can erase what Allah has already decreed. And if Allah writes a different path for you, then know with complete certainty that what He chooses will always be better than what you would have chosen for yourself. So stop carrying tomorrow's worries. Stop trying to force what only Allah can control. Stop believing that your future depends on people. Your future has always been in the hands of the one who loves you more than you can imagine. From this day forward, choose trust over fear. Choose patience over panic. Choose dua over despair. Choose Allah over every doubt that enters your heart. Because when your heart belongs completely to Allah, you never truly lose anything. You only move closer to the blessings He has already written for you. Raise your hands often. Speak to your Lord often. Cry to Him without shame. Tell Him everything that weighs upon your heart. Then leave your worries with Him. For Allah never disappoints the servant who sincerely places their trust in Him. May Allah fill your heart with beautiful patience. May He replace every fear with complete tawakkul. May He heal every hidden wound that no one else knows about. May He remove every hardship that stands between you and His mercy. May He bless you with a righteous spouse if that is good for your faith, your life, and your akhirah. May He protect you from every relationship that would lead you away from Him. May He write for you what is best, even when you cannot yet understand His wisdom. May He make your heart content with His decree, your tongue constant in His remembrance, and your soul peaceful through His guidance. Ameen. If this reminder touched your heart, then don't let it end here. Share it with someone who may be silently waiting for Allah's answer tonight. Perhaps your share becomes the reason another heart finds hope again. And if you would like to continue growing in faith, finding peace through the Quran and Sunnah, and strengthening your trust in Allah through heartfelt reminders, then subscribe to Deenapedia and join us on this journey toward Jannah, one reminder at a time. Until we meet again, may Allah protect you, guide you, increase you in Iman, and fill your life with His mercy, His barakah, and His endless peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.